If you've been looking to start investing in larger multifamily apartment buildings, you might have heard that at a certain point, you need to hire an on-site property manager. Over the decades that we've been managing residential buildings for our clients, we've hired numerous on-site property managers for a variety of building sizes. They are the first line of care and attention at your property, and so we'd like to go over some of the basics of using an on-site manager so that you have a better understanding of what they do, how they're compensated, and how we go about hiring them. So let's jump into it. If and when you hire a professional property management company, the on-site manager is usually someone that is separate from and in addition to your regular property manager. It's common that the on-site manager will be someone who works for the building part-time. The PM is a full-time employee of the property management company that will be your go-to contact for all aspects of your building and will supervise and coordinate with the on-site manager as needed. By law, every on-site manager is considered an employee. This means that you, as the landlord, must do things like provide workers' compensation insurance and account for all necessary federal and state taxes and laws. It essentially turns you from an investor into an employer. What we do as a professional property management company is take over that role for you so that the on-site manager will become an employee of the property management company. Not only does this allow you to largely hand off those responsibilities to us, but it places the on-site manager within a well-defined structure that is compliant with all laws, has a greater level of accountability, and really opens up the scope of their work at your property. So let's go over some of the basic duties that we require of the on-site manager that will be living and working at your property. Since of course you want to make sure that any vacancies can be filled as soon as possible, it's great to have someone consistently on the property that is very familiar with the building and the other tenants and is capable of giving tours of the available spaces to prospective tenants. Your on-site manager will maintain all the common areas of the premises in a clean, safe, and orderly condition, including any laundry rooms, hallways, staircases, lobbies, parking lots, etc. As mentioned earlier, your on-site manager will often be the first set of eyes and ears for anything that occurs at your building. Because of this, they are in charge of reporting any necessary repairs, hazards, upcoming vacancies, accidents, and tenant problems to either you or your property manager. When a vacant unit is being professionally cleaned or refurbished, or there is some kind of major maintenance or repair work that is being done, the on-site manager will check on the progress, perhaps document it with some photos or videos, and then report back to the PM. Since your on-site manager is considered an employee, they need to record any and all hours worked for the property on a timesheet. This can include any work performed due to an emergency, doing a general inspection of the building, or attending a conference call with the management office. Now, one question that gets brought up a lot is whether or not your on-site manager should also be used as a handyman or handywoman. But the issue that arises here is that depending on the work, this is often outside of the scope of an on-site manager's duties. It also requires them to work far more hours and may have implications on things such as your insurance. With our on-site managers, they may be asked to do tasks like replacing a lock on a mailbox, putting up a new smoke detector, or using a retail-grade snaking device to fix a clogged toilet, so long as they can log in any time that they spent on those tasks. Aside from that, Coastline and other management companies likely have a maintenance department that can send someone out to address any issues that take up more time. Generally speaking, on-site managers are typically compensated through a reduction or removal of monthly rent for the apartment in which they live. Here in California, your on-site manager must be paid at least the minimum wage, and there is a cap on the total monthly rent that they can be charged for their unit. At the time of making this video, an on-site manager in Los Angeles must be paid the minimum wage of $15 per hour, and the maximum amount of monthly rent that can be charged is approximately $790 if they are a single manager, or $1,169 if it is a couple managing together. Another way you can compensate your on-site manager is to provide their living space rent-free, in which case you then are able to reduce the payment of their monthly wages by the lesser of either 2/3 of the rental value of your unit or the $790 and $1,169 figures that we mentioned earlier. It's a lot to keep track of and be responsible for, which is another reason why I want to consider hiring a professional management company, having them find a setup that makes the most economical sense for you, and then passing on the day-to-day employment responsibilities to them. Now, while having previous management experience is great, it's not an absolute requirement. Instead, we put a bigger emphasis on character and work ethic. It sounds simple, but one of the things that we like to say at Coastline is we do what we say and more. We want people on our team that can be counted on to get things done, can effectively communicate, and are willing to go above and beyond for those around them. Now, this is very important considering that the on-site manager is essentially the liaison between the tenants, the vendors, the property management company, and of course, you, the landlord. It's a lot of relationships to manage, which is why character and work ethic are key. Another thing that has become increasingly important over the years is a basic level of technical ability. In order to maintain that effective communication and to properly document everything that happens at the property, an on-site manager should be able to comfortably navigate, or at least quickly learn, tools like spreadsheets for collecting data, cloud drives for sharing and storing photos or video, and any specialized property management software that either you or your property management company uses. So if you're looking to grow into larger multifamily real estate, do your research for your specific area and consider speaking to a professional property management company that will help you carry the responsibility of being an employer so that you can simply focus more of your energy on being an investor. From all of us here at Coastline Equity, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.